As I'm sure you know, there is a Nintendo Direct coming tomorrow. There were a number of leaks over on Twitter, and those turned out to be true. I thought it might be nice for all of us to get together, go over some of the games that we potentially might see, but also in the comments have a bit of a chinwag, and without going over the top, chat about some of the games we're most hyped for. We've just given away one £50 voucher to one lucky person. We're also giving away 4 more over the weekend. And don't forget, we also have 10% off on our website at the moment, and there's a huge sale starting this Thursday. So if you want to save 10%, use code SwitchUp. All the links are in the description. Alright, let's try not to massively overhype, only for us all to be disappointed. But what do we actually know, and what time is it? Well, let's find out. First things first, these are the times that it's showing. It's quite late here in the UK, but hopefully I think myself or Glen are looking to do a video going over the best and most interesting announcements. Firstly then, and probably least likely, is Metroid Prime 4. This is the one that Glen would most like to see, but we're both realistic. It's had a tumultuous development period, with it being completely restarted in 2019. But that being said, a couple of years they could potentially have something to show. Glen made the interesting comment that he felt like perhaps they just had to announce it, or announced it earlier than really they should have done, potentially under the pressure of showing that the Switch had legs. It was quite a big statement for Nintendo to entirely scrap current development though, and I should imagine pressure is beginning to mount again for them to actually show some progress. The game that I've been waiting for what feels like an eternity, since I played an early build back in EGX in London, might have even been 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago, is Silksong. And I know that's not going to be announced tomorrow, but I am personally quite surprised by how long it's taken for us to hear anything. I know we've had the pandemic in the middle, but that early build felt pretty decent. And honestly, out of everything that's coming out, I think this is probably the game that I'm most excited for. I can't think of another release that would get me more hyped, and that includes all of the first party stuff that's due to come out. Team Cherry haven't actually updated their blog since 2019, and the last real information we had was probably back in Edge magazine in February of 2021, where they had an exclusive preview, and even there they seem to have so much of the game already fleshed out. I think it's highly likely that we'll have a little bit more information about Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. I must admit, I did think early last year that they were going to release Breath of the Wild with a new Switch model, so I thought we might get the Switch Pro model in March of this year, but that's clearly not going to happen, and then it would launch like the original Switch alongside Breath of the Wild, but that turned out to be wishful thinking, I think. But they've stuck with the 2022 release date, up to now at least. I wouldn't be again surprised if we get that holiday 2022 release date confirmed. Not a first party title, and potentially going to be in an indie direct, but it's been a while since we heard about the Outer Wilds. Not to be mistaken with the Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds is an awesome game that came out quite a while back on PC and other platforms, and the Switch port was scheduled to come out at the end of last year. It all went very quiet on that front, so having it in the first quarter of this year doesn't seem out of the question. If you're not familiar with it, it's got a very interesting concept where you're exploring a solar system, but the whole game is stuck within a 22-minute time loop, and basically the sun explodes at the end of every loop, like an intergalactic Groundhog Day. You then have to investigate the solar system, try and find what exactly is causing this. But what's very cool about it is that you've got that constant, almost impending doom, because that's quite literally what's happening. After each death, you wake up back at your home planet, and certain things also change as well. It's a really good game. It's got a big following on the other platforms, and yeah, we're looking forward to this one arriving. With Triangle Strategy just about to come out, I'd expect to see something about it in this Nintendo Direct, just to keep it in people's minds. It releases on the 4th of March, and it looks to use that beautiful HD 2D style that we saw in Octopath Traveler. One that's almost a given, I'd say, would be the Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, which is in the capable hands of Way Forward. Aside from the change of visual style, they've also re-recorded the soundtrack, and it's seen a number of visual tweaks. It's again another one that was due to release at the end of last year, and that got shifted to spring of 2022, so perhaps we'll have a solid release date. It's interesting to note that this one does feature online play, making it only the second game, I think, in the series so far to have some online functionality. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong there, Glen. One that I don't really care about, to be honest, but I know many people will, and it's Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Now, they announced this in one of their Nintendo Directs in 2021, and it was due for release at the end of that year. Didn't come out. Is this another one that might shadow drop in this Nintendo Direct, or at least give you a final date? It wouldn't surprise me. I think we'll have have more information about Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That was revealed back at E3 2021, originally accidentally. It feels like another reasonably safe bet that they'll want to give a bit more information, build a bit more hype before it launches sometime this year. I do love Splatoon 2, but I don't know why I'm not overly hyped for Splatoon 3. I mean, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm sure, and I'm sure we'll bring you a review. It looks so similar. I do hope they do something a bit different, but it's unlikely, isn't it? I'm sure we'll have more information about that tomorrow. One that I would like to see more about, that we probably almost certainly won't, is Sonic Frontiers. I actually hope they don't show too much about the new Kirby. I really like the look of that, and having the whole thing spoiled wouldn't be great. And a little more information about Bayonetta 3 wouldn't hurt either. What are you guys looking forward to? What do you think's going to come? For us as reviewers, it is exciting knowing that you're going to potentially have a shadow drop. I mean, it's exciting and also terrifying because you know you're not going to sleep for the next however long. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Hopefully we've avoided overhyping anything, and these are just general thoughts based on what is currently known and the most likely outcomes. As I said at the start, do save 10% if you want to on your eShop vouchers over at switchup.gg using code SwitchUp. And thanks to all of you that watch the channel and to our patrons who support us each and every month. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch Up. Cheers guys. See ya!